Welcome to the Stoned Roadie Show.
Welcome to the Stoned Roadie Show, with the world's most famous roadie named Craig Reed. He's the legend and has some great weed. He's our number one source for our ski information, which is what we all need from the band that we love. He has a trusty sidekick, Griff, the one we know as a rocket scientist. You may see Griff on the road getting it done, which always makes the show so much more fun. Two great men doing great things for the crash survivors. Send a little money when you can, if you want to lend a helping hand. Yeah, two great men keeping the spirit alive for the fans and the family, helping them thrive. We can even wake and bake with them in the morning and get our Skynyrd fill. We love the Stoned Roadie Show. Yes, you know the deal. We're lucky when we get to see the Stoned Roadie, Stone and Shelby and Kathy Gotsey too. Both are beautiful and hot as fire. They make their videos worth a view. From backstage passes to the stories untold, Craig's got the history worth more than gold. With Griff's expertise and the whole crew's heart, they've been keeping Skynyrd's legacy alive from the start. Every day they're sharing memories and more of the band we worship and adore. From simple man to sweet home sound, the Stoned Roadie Show's the best around. Two great men doing great things for the crash survivors. Send a little money when you can, if you want to lend a helping hand. Yeah, two great men keeping the music alive. Southern rock forever, let it thrive. Once it's all done, he may sing happy trails to you. You all take care, my friends. Keep rocking, keep rolling, this show never ends. And long live Lynyrd Skynyrd. Long live Lynyrd Skynyrd. Long live Skynyrd.
The Stoned Roadie Show, podcast 340. Take one, roll one, and burn one down, and roll them if you're lucky enough to got 'em. Alrighty then, fellows, Stoned Roadie Dimension, looky here. My name's Craig Reed, a.k.a. the Stoned Roadie, and with me, like almost always, is my co-host, co-pilot, and the rocket scientist, Griff Martin. And hey, Griff, man, I really just love that new opening song, but you know it's a little long to play for the first of the show every time. But I thought we'd play that thing, and I don't think we ever have showed the musicians' names and everything at the beginning of it. I think we omitted that, but yeah, I wanted to show that very first original, the full version of their song too, with Kathy Godsey and Shelby in it, and then we edited it to try to shorten it up, but it didn't work out so good. It's kind of hard to mess that one up. So I don't know what we're gonna do about that. But yeah, that'd be we won't be playing the whole song every time anymore. But yeah, I really like that song. But anyways, so Naomi Smith. We didn't mention this last time on the for the podcast for the comments. Truly hardcore Skynyrd fans wrote and sang that new song. Congrats. See you down the road. Yeah, it seems that way there, Naomi. I really love the song, man. That's kind of why I was, wanted to put it on there. Give them guys some kudos for writing that. And I really appreciate it. And it's a great song. I think it's a great song. Not only because it's kind of about me, but it's a great song, man. I listen to it every day, and I listen to it once. I go, God, that's a great song, and I'll listen to it again. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, what do you think, Griff?
You know it's a good song when it gets stuck in your head, like that part where "Long live Lynyrd Skynyrd," and it's just sticks in your head, and
Long live Lynyrd Skynyrd, yeah.
Trying to do something, and you're messing around with something and you can't get it out of your head, So so we played it one more time. That's the last time we're going to play the whole thing. And you can just go
for a while.
I'll pick a piece out of it so you can hear it at the beginning. So next time you hear the opening, it'll just be a portion.
I've heard people say that should be a single, so I'd like to get it put on Spotify if anybody knows how to do that.
Yeah, well, we don't know how to do anything like that. We don't have time for it either.
Well, we used to be able to go to the moon, but we lost that technology.
Yeah, Craig, we're kind of technophobes here. It's the best we can do is just do the podcast, and I even struggle with the editing sometimes. Like I did a on the road with Griff Martin at Gene Odom's house that we're going to play at the end of this podcast, and I had a lot of editing to do in there, and then I was wore out. I spent about 4 or 5 hours, messing around with that. But yeah, so I went to Gene's house last weekend, and Gene's writing a new book, and it's basically it's volume 2 of this book, and this particular blue book, a lady friend of mine gave it to me in 2015, and she got it from somewhere used from a guy named Ken McManus, and Gene signed it in 1985, 7/4/85. Gene signed to Kent McManus. Hope you like it. Thanks. And then I took it to Gene in 9/15/23, and he said, signed it again for Griff, recycled, Gene Odom. So Gene's got a new book coming out pretty soon, volume 2 of the blue book, which this blue book's very collectible, and it retails pretty high if you can find it. So stick around for the video at the end, because it talks about the blood oath. It's all about the blood oath. And if you don't know anything about the Lynyrd Skynyrd blood oath, then it's going to be in the book, and it's also in the video at the end of the podcast. And Gene talks about it, so you'll get to see a little bit about that. Yeah, we got a lot of other stuff to talk about. You got something? Somebody sent you something from jail, Craig?
No, yeah. My buddy George Zellenball, George Zellenball, yeah. Yeah, he wrote me, and he had a friend that was in prison. So he said he had plenty of, he hand drew this. He said he had plenty of time to hand draw it because he was in prison. And wanted me to auction it off. And
That's
yeah, it's really cool
right there. Yeah. I think I might even bid on that one. Robert Wheatley will probably snag it up. You know
it's
Robert
very cool. It's
Wheatley.
one of a kind. It's hand drawn from in prison. This kind of prison artwork is
4 walls of Rayford.
Pricey stuff. It's really nice. Look at the
yeah.
You can see it's
Prison
really
art.
nice. The guy was an incredible artist. Got a snake. I can see from the back. It's got the snake and the hat and everything.
And I need to take a picture of that, or you need to take a picture of that, because we could put that on a T-shirt too.
Oh yeah. There's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's a drawing already done, isn't it? Didn't he copy?
Yeah,
that
that's the one on Clayton's sticker. We have that sticker that we sell from Clayton Johnson. And I yesterday was Gary's. Yesterday yesterday was Thursday. This is Friday. We're doing this early because I gotta be the music director at my sister's retirement home dance party tomorrow night, Saturday night. So.
I like to be a fly on the wall for that.
Because we usually do them on. We were doing them on Sunday, but it got to be too hectic trying to do it on Sunday.
Craig, next time you go, though, when you go, take a dish of some gummies and lay some gummies out in a dish.
Oh God, yeah.
Get that party hopping, man.
Yeah, it's funny. So yeah, but where was I going? Oh, anyways.
Yeah, Gary's birthday.
Oh, Gary's birthday, yeah. Oh, yeah. So I showed that picture. Everybody was posting pictures of Gary. So I was looking around and I found that picture of Gary's first guitar. So I put it up. I said, hey, look, this is Gary's first guitar. And then I thought I would add to the story and say, yeah, Gary gave this guitar to Clayton Johnson, who was the production manager for Lynyrd Skynyrd during the plane crash, and then later on he was actually the manager for when Bill Graham was the manager when the tribute band started. And when Clayton was down there actually staying at Gary's house, Gary gave Clayton that Silvertone, and Clayton still got it. And that's a picture that Clayton took. And you'll see the Peter Frampton poster and everything behind it, if you know.
Oh, I'll go dig that off of your Facebook page and put it up here so people can see it.
But anyway, so I called Clayton today because I like to call people when I mention their name or anywhere, and I said, "Hey, Clayton, on my FakeBook account, I posted. It was Gary's birthday, so I posted a thing and showed the good card that Gary gave you and put on there the reason you had it and everything, and told him that I mentioned his name and everything, and I told him about the sticker. He's the one that donated those stickers for us, and to sell on here, and I was selling those for $25 a piece on here to donate to the survivors, and it slowed down. Well, I don't know. I still got to sell these prizes, and I got to read this note that George sent too. But I got to send out these prices, so people kind of have slacked off on selling. But a couple weeks ago, I actually sold one of those stickers on eBay for $100. So they're like I said, they're rare. So we'll still have those available here coming up. After we clear all this up going into next year. And I think we'll start this off with this thing here off with next year, because we're going to send that money out here next week. But Griff's sending that money out to me. But George, he wrote this note here. And they said, here's the picture that I've emailed you about. And like I said, my old co-worker drew it for me. He spent some time in prison, so he had plenty of time to draw. So please auction it off and give the money you get for it to the survivors. I'm also enclosing $20 for you to use for postage to mail my prize, or you can give it to the survivors. It's up to you. Thanks for all you and Griff do, George Zollenbach. Well,
so in other words, he's kind of like hoping you'll use it to mail his prize, but if you decide to be a slacker still, then he's going to go ahead and say, give it to the survivors if you can't get your ass in gear and mail the prize.
You know what? I've been delinquent in my duties here lately, and I promised I was going to do that.
No shit.
You got to understand. Like I told everybody a long time ago, I put all that stuff out in my shed, and I've been trying to keep it climate controlled, but it's hard to do when it's 8 degrees outside. It's freaking
well, nobody told you
here.
to move the operation out in the tent.
Well, I had to because there's no room in here. You know where my situation here. Griff, there's like 18 things that go in one box. I mean, there's literally 18 things that go in a box.
And
that's how big your prizes are, but it's.
If I would have realized that, that you weren't going to mail them out for 2 years, then I would have cut that giveaway short a long time before you gave that many out. So,
well, it's just.
I guess it's better to hope you get a prize than know that Griff cut it short and not get a prize at all.
When they get it, they're really going to appreciate it, and it really makes people. It really has improved the watching because everybody goes, that Craig Reed's a goddamn asshole, man. He ain't about them prizes. And, it don't matter what they say about. As long as they're talking about you, man, you're in there, It don't matter if it's good or bad or whatever. As long as they're talking about it. It's like Ronnie says, when they quit talking about that, that's when you got to start worrying. So, as long as I'm an asshole, being an asshole is a good thing sometimes, man. People don't want to watch nobody that's just normal. They want to watch assholes and big fat people and stuff,
Like Gary's funeral brochure and everybody that got mad, and I was laughing.
Oh yeah, I posted that today
because I found this picture of Craig. And Paul Rogers is in this picture with Craig, and Craig don't even know Paul Rogers is standing there, right? And I'll put it up right now so you can see it. And so Craig is in the background looking for funeral brochures, and he don't even
Oh, the funeral brochures are inside the building. I knew where they were.
He don't even realize. He goes, I didn't ever even see Paul Rogers. He said, I didn't realize that was him. Did you ever talk to him, Craig?
No, he got up on stage. He said, I'm a singer, and I was going, who the hell are you? Because I didn't hear him introduce himself. I was going, and even when I saw him in the crowd, I didn't know how the hell he was.
Did you ever meet him back in the day and talk to him?
Hell yeah, I got his autograph. I got his picture, 3 different pictures of the autograph, but he just didn't look like him that day,
Well, I mean, we're all getting older.
No, it didn't look like him. I didn't know who he was.
Yeah. Well, shit, man, that picture's funny as hell. Craig standing there, don't even know Paul Rogers is in front of him.
It's like I was telling Clayton today. Clayton was asking me about Big Lou, and I said, yeah. I said, the last time I saw Big Lou, he said he walked up to me. He goes, "Aren't you going to talk to me?" I goes, "I don't know who the hell you are."
Wasn't that at Whitey's?
No, it was before that. It was at Gene's, where we did the filming for that Gene's movie.
Well, you saw him at Whitey's too.
Yeah, but that was after that. Yeah, that was
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
He reminded me where I saw him again. But yeah, but he said, "Aren't you going to say hi to me?" I said, "I don't know who the hell you are." And he goes, "I'm Big Lou." I go, "God, what happened to the other half of you?" Yeah, he lost half himself, man. He didn't even. I didn't know who he was. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then I saw him at Whitey's too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool. I got to meet him there at Whitey's, and and that was a great time at that Whitey's. But well, you got something in the mail from somebody that to auction off, and I got something too, Craig. Look, a brick from the downtown studio,
Oh, cool.
and yeah, this came
Oh,
from Chris
it was a blue
Benson.
building. Is that blue paint on there?
I don't know what part of the building it came from, but maybe it was the inside. It got
Oh, I don't
demolished,
know. I
so
thought
who
I saw
knows?
blue.
But
Oh,
it did come out of the downtown studio, and then he also sent a picture of. Now, this is like a different part of the Dean Kilpatrick drawing that he took. This was on the wall in there. Do you recognize that, Craig?
well, was looking at that, and let me put up the picture. I got the picture downloaded here.
Did he draw it in a couple different places? Because this was,
No, it was in one place. I put that on here.
but this was on the wall because he took. I saw the video of him.
Yeah, but it's
peeling.
a different. You'll see the difference.
I know, so I'm trying to figure out.
I don't.
Maybe,
Yeah, I know,
Chris,
but
maybe you
it's
can
not
tell
the
me where this
same.
was. Yeah, but it was on the wall because he did the video. He was in there, so
Here it is, right here. Okay, let me move out of the thing. Do.
Yeah, so this is the picture. This is a picture that Chris sent, and I saw the video of this, so it was drawn on the wall. Maybe Dean drew it again in another spot or something. I don't know.
Not that I remember. I just remember that somebody else. I don't know.
It says "Disco sucks" on it. Somebody wrote that. But anyway,
But like
so
I said, here
I'm thinking of cutting this brick up into sections and then putting it with like Curtis Low Store stuff, Hell House Dock wood, some stuff like that, and making a shadow box or something. You guys in the comments, let me know. Should I keep this in one piece? And somebody want to just buy it at an auction in one piece, or slice it up and share the wealth. But a lot of people are complaining, Craig, that they don't know how to bid on stuff. So you got to contact Craig at thestonedroadie@gmail.com. And I thought by now everybody knew that, unless you're a new watcher. It's thestonedroadie@gmail.com. Send Craig, a bid on that. What is that? A flag, Craig?
the prison thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna show those T-shirts here we got up for auction too. Yeah.
Yeah, so in the comments, let me know what you want to do with this brick and this picture that Chris Benton sent. And maybe, Chris, you can email me and let me know what's up with this in comparison to the one Craig's got up there, because it don't jive with but I'm sure that was on the wall, so I don't know what's going on with that.
It just looked different. I saw a close-up of it. I don't know what looked different, but I goes, man, that's weird.
Yeah, it is, but it was there. It was on. He took the picture, and it was paint peeling off the wall, and
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, that was a
But,
long
you know.
time ago, man. And he went to.
I'm in a different dimension, so I don't know. That could be in another dimension.
And in the same, I think the same night or the same weekend, he was at Lacey Van Zant's house, and Lacey had supposedly Ronnie's shirt that he wore in the plane crash in a frame. And he sent me the picture of that, but I can't even make it out. So I didn't want to put it up here. I can't even tell what it is by looking at the picture. So, but yeah, he went on a little Lynyrd Skynyrd revival one weekend, and went in the downtown studio and over to Lacey's. I think he just knocked on Lacey's door, and Lacey said, "Hey, what's happening? Come on in." Kind of like Craig does, you know. So yeah. So what else you got going, Craig?
Hey, yeah, we got these T-shirts. Let me show these T-shirts again. Well, let me tell you what we got going on with bidding here. All right, Brian Riggins, you bid 60 on the one Sounds of the South T-shirt that I'm showing now, and that's a large T-shirt. And then it's got this here on the back. Support Southern music, yeah. And these are, what kind of shirts are they?
Isn't that it? You say that's a double X, Craig?
No, these are extra large.
That's extra large. Okay, don't let me confuse you.
Sure.
Extra large on that
one. These first three are extra large, and this one's got a bid on it by Brian Riggins. He bid 60 on it, and then Robert Wheatley bid 100 on it, and then Brian Riggins bid 150 on it. So, Brian, you got the high bid so far, but I haven't told Robert Wheatley that you outbid him yet, so we'll see what happens there. So, and then Tammy Powers, you bid $135 on this last ticket shirt here. This is also an extra large. This is the Greenville, South Carolina ticket. And Robert Wheatley had a bid of $100 on this, but Tammy Powers bid $135 on it. So anybody want to outbid Brian Riggins' $150 bid on this shirt here? That's the $150 on that one, and there's a $135 bid on that one so far. And that's by Tammy Powers. And the one more from the Road shirt is an extra large. And Robert Wheatley's got a $100 bid on this one, and he's the only one that's got a bid on this one so far. And he had a $100 bid on all three of them shirts, but he's been outbid by Brian Riggins and Tammy Powers. But he's still got a $100 winning bid on this shirt here, and it is a extra large. And then we have two double extra large shirts. We got the Alan Collins Band baseball sleeved shirt. Alan Collins Band with a Stratocaster dragster emblem on the front, and here, there, and back on the back. It's a double extra large, and there are no bids on that thus far. And there's a Rossington Collins Band baseball shirt. It's yellow and white, and it's anytime, any place, anywhere. Double extra large Alan Collins Band t-shirt. No bids on that so far. So there we are with T-shirts and.
So you would have to bid at least $20 on those double X's in order for the shipping to be worth it. So don't bid anything less than that. And if it closes at $20, then it's theirs, right, Craig?
I don't know.
Hey man, why not?
Let's see what happens. It seems like we should get at least $50 for them. $30 for the shirt and $20 for shipping or whatever. I don't know, since it's for donating for the survivors. But
well, we got to get.
We'll see what happens. Well, we might just extend those till next year or so. We'll see what we got the option to do what we want.
Well, after the first of the year, those double X's after you.
Well, they can be extended into next year. There's no rules or regulations here. We're going to have to extend that flag into the next half of the next year.
After you eat all of that pumpkin pie, and you'd be able to fit in that double X. So
Yeah, people will be fatter by summertime. They'll need that one.
Yeah, so thestonedroadie@gmail.com. So you guys heard all the what's going on with the bids, and if you want to top the ones that already have bids, and if you want to go ahead and bid on the ones that don't, thestonedroadie@gmail.com. And let me know in the comments what you want to do with this brick. No bids yet for this until we figure out what we're going to do with it, and then you can start bidding on that little flag, that prison garb, right, Craig? They can go ahead.
Yeah. That brick will probably have to go towards next year too, because
Oh yeah, definitely. But we ain't.
So we got some things piling up for next year. Plus, Clayton sent me said he's sending me some more stuff. So we're gonna have some new stuffers going out, for auction,
And also, I haven't heard from Janelle Caldwell, Toy Caldwell's daughter. I'm going to send her another message. I'm trying to give her some time to get back with me, and if I don't hear from her in a few days, and then you haven't heard from Bill Sykes yet either.
No, he was supposed to contact you. He said it'd be after Thanksgiving, so
So just keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully those people will come around. And another thing, too, I wanted to talk about something kind of cool, which is not really that cool to start out with. You ever heard of Steve Cropper, Craig?
You don't believe so?
Yeah, a musician. He died December 3rd. And he played on that song Sitting on the Dock of the Bay with Otis Redding. He co-wrote that song, and he also he played with Booker T and the MGs and Otis Redding. He also co-wrote Knock on Wood and In the Midnight Hour with Wilson Pickett.
Wow.
He played the remake of the song Soul Man with the Blues Brothers. Real famous guy, man.
Cool.
But how is this related to Lynyrd Skynyrd? Well, Brian Bodkin saw the guy in Nashville. I guess he was playing a gig there, and he told a story about how he wrote some music for the movie The Longest Yard. And and so I think he had like about 4 songs that he turned in for the soundtrack for the movie, and he got bumped out by guess who?
By
Mr.
Lynyrd Saturday
Skynyrd.
Night Special.
Yeah, he was pissed. He was pissed about it. And so if you guys haven't seen The Longest Yard, and it's basically Burt Reynolds. He's in this car. You know what kind of car that is, Craig?
Maserati.
Not well. It's got Maserati engine, but it's a Citroen. It's a French car.
Oh, really? Citroen.
Yeah,
it's Citroen.
Citroen. Yeah, it's got a Maserati, and Citroen bought Maserati so they could build them a V6 to fit in that car.
Oh, I always thought it was a Maserati. Yeah.
Well,
Citroen.
it's got a Maserati engine in it, but what's crazy about that car, lights, when you go to turn the curve, the lights turn with the curve.
My car does that.
And, well, that used to be outlawed. Back then, you weren't allowed to have that.
I didn't know what that switch underneath my thing was, and that turns it on. Yeah, I didn't
also,
even know
that car, if you have a flat on that Citroen, if you have a flat tire, you can ride on 3 wheels because it's got a hydraulic leveling system, and you can level that flat tire off the ground and drive around with three wheels. And you know, when you can raise and lower the car, you can like go up and down with it. And there's a little thing beside the seat where you can raise and lower the car. And then like when you hit the brakes, you know how most cars, they nose down. Well, that leveling system, the ass in, kind of like you're in a boat. It just kind of like drifts to a stop. It's crazy. And
that's some kind of crazy computer system running that, huh?
And it's also got like some cool windshield wipers that it's like a coefficient of friction. The less friction you have from like the harder the rain, the faster the wipers go.
My car's got that too.
Well, that's more of a computer thing, though.
Turn your wipers on if there's no rain. You turn it the first click. If there's no rain, they won't come on.
Yeah, but this was a car back from the 70s.
But if it rains real hard, they go. And as soon as it quits raining real hard, they'll go down to nothing automatically. Yeah.
And so, if you haven't seen that Longest Yard where he does the road chase with the cops, and it's playing Saturday Night Special, and Burt Reynolds is
the
driving.
Car submerges and the song's going blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and play that video clip on here. I know we're going to get demonetized for it, but what the hell?
Give me the police.
Notice that car, how state of the art that thing is, and if you want to know more about it, go to Joe Leno's garage and pull
Jay
up
Leno.
Jay Leno. Jay Leno. I love that Jay Leno's garage.
Oh, he's got some cool shit.
And he's
got
smart,
some
man.
steam damn engines that'll freaking blow up on you if you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, he's pretty smart, man.
He's
when it
got a
comes to
bunch of
cars.
them freakers too.
So anyway, yeah, then that's about all I got on that. We got some comments and questions too. You got anything else, Craig, before we jump into the comments and questions?
Something that I wanted to comment on last week that I heard on one of those late night radio shows about Trump wanting to put a nuclear plant on the moon. I talked to you about it last week, and then I heard it on the radio again. Don't you need water to cool down the nuclear plant? In the first place, I don't think we've ever been to the moon. I don't think you can get to the moon. I don't think you can get past the firmament. So what the hell is going on? They want to. What would we want to put a nuclear plant on the moon for? We can't. They said we lost the technology to go to the moon. Now we're all of a sudden we're going to take thousands of pounds of material up there and build a nuclear plant and take 100 people up there to build the thing. What are they? Have they all lost their minds? And Trump's behind the thing.
Yeah,
I don't get it, man. I don't know what's going on.
I got to the point now where I don't believe a damn thing anymore. I don't even know if I believe Trump anymore. I'm ready to go move in with the Amish. That's what
all I know is NASA gets $66 million a day funding.
Oh yeah, they always shoot high. They always shoot for like $20 billion a year, and they'll end up with 15. They always shoot high, and then they end up getting what they want.
From what I understand, before NASA, the Earth was flat, even in the history books.
Well, I got my globe back there that just with the space shuttle. So
Hey, the government's never lied to you yet, so why should?
And I worked for them for 35 years, and I did witness rockets taking off, and I loaded astronauts in spaceships, and I met them, and I know that there's space, but that moon thing, I'm skeptical on that myself. So
yeah, but would it have been possible for them to leave once they got up there? Would it have been possible for them to leave without you knowing it?
Yeah, but they had to be some pretty good liars, though, Craig, because, I sat there, I used to train them in the slide wire escape system, and I would sit there and bullshit with them for hours and ask them questions about, zero gravity and things like that. And, they had to be some damn bald-faced liars to be able to.
Well, why won't any of them swear on the Bible that they walked on the moon? They get pissed off when people ask them to swear on the Bible. They get pissed off.
Maybe it's got something to do with them bumping their family off if they tell if they tell the truth. Who knows?
Oh, wow.
But anyway, back to the skin formation.
Money talks and bullshit walks.
Last week, Homer Hancock asked Craig when Need All My Friends was recorded, and he said Ronnie sounded young. And so Kent Griffith.
He was.
Yeah, Kent Griffith did a little research on that. And he says the first 6 Skynyrd songs were recorded in May 1969, according to Larry Steele's book at Norman Vincent Studios. Jim Sutton and Tom Markham recorded the band. He said, I tracked down the street address of the former studio from Florida Public Records. The actual address was 4551 Brown Avenue, Jacksonville, Florida. The original building still stands, and I'm going to put a couple photos up right here so you guys can see what it looks like. I guess this is what it, I don't know if that's, what is that, Kent? Those old pictures from what it used to look like, or new pictures from what it looks like now? But anyway, so there you go. Thanks, Kent, for researching that. And we try to answer all the questions that we can. Even, that was before your time, right, Craig? I mean, you.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I wasn't with them till,
Yeah.
Yeah, dang. That was probably,
you just
that was probably
showed
before
up.
Billy was even a roadie.
You just came in when that movie, The Longest Yard, that was 74.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so you remember about that? You remember when that was going
I
on?
was with them. I was with them 8 or 9 months before Artimus
Do
was
you
hired.
remember Ronnie talking about that movie and The Longest Yard, and those guys talking about?
Oh yeah. Well, that was still when, but we had just got back from Europe when, and that's when Bob went crazy, and that's when the new drummer thing became an issue, and that's when Ed was cheerleading for Artimus because of Marshall Tucker and Charlie Daniels. From what I understand,
So when that song made it in The Longest Yard, what were the guys saying about that? Were they like all hopped up over that, or what?
not really. That I remember, it wasn't such an issue.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, we got a song in a movie.
Well,
I don't remember them it being such an issue. I
it was
just
an
remember
issue
them. Ed was saying, we got this thing we got to do for this movie, and I'd like for Artemis to play drums on it.
Well, it was an issue.
They didn't have a drummer at that point. Bob Burns was out of the picture.
It
right
was an
after
issue.
Europe.
It was an issue for Steve Cropper because it pissed him off because his soundtrack didn't make it in there. Which somebody mentioned in here. Speaking of that, who was it that mentioned? They wanted to know. The question was, when Artimus came into the group, who got him on board with the Bob Burns drum parts, because Bob Burns was too screwed up to show him anything. So how did Artimus come in there?
I guess
wasn't he over in Europe?
Artimus came to, well, it's just, I don't know. I'm not a musician, but don't you learn drum parts the same as you learn guitar parts and off a record or something? I mean, seems like you would.
So he
You
had
just
enough
listen to
time,
records, don't you?
he had enough time to practice before he came to Europe and toured with them.
Artimus came to, I remember Artimus was in Europe Artimus, the band flew him over there, or for some reason Artimus was in Europe, and we just didn't say anything to Bob about who it was.
So he didn't play.
And I remember Artimus being in Europe, and it was hush hush. Nobody tell Bob that this is the drummer that might replace him, because they just wanted to meet Artimus.
Oh, so Artimus didn't play any of that.
No, he was.
Okay.
He was. It was just a strictly and a personal interview without any playing. They just wanted to meet him.
So do you remember?
Yes. From what I remember, all I remember was them going, Artimus, this drummer's going to come and talk to the band, but Bob's not to know that it's a drummer. It's just some guy that's over here or something. That was a long freaking time ago, man.
I know, man, but you got people asking you questions. So do you
remember? Somebody told me today, said you guys would be freaking rock stars if you would answer everybody's question. Well, dang, I try, man. Shit.
Well, I'm trying to drag it out of you, but it's like pulling teeth.
Well, it's up in there somewhere. You just got to maybe.
Well, let me ask you this, Craig. Reach back in your farthest brain cell and see if you can answer this. What's your first recollection of Artimus playing drums with the band? Did you notice him having trouble? Anybody showing
At
him
the
anything?
Hell House. I mean,
Okay,
it really
was he?
because I wasn't up and I didn't go up there when they did the young longest short thing. I just remember he was started out at the Hell House and started staying at the Hell House when I was staying at the Hell House. So, you know,
Was anybody showing him anything? Like
that was Bob was gone.
Right, but was Joe Crimp showing him something?
No.
How was he learning? I guess he had to listen to the
just by
albums.
listening to the records. I guess I don't know. Shit, I'm not a drummer.
Well, we're the roadie, and if you don't start answering
Well, I'm not a drummer.
if you don't start answering damn questions, man, people are going to
Well,
think that
I'm not a drummer, but I know the beat in my head. I know what it should sound like, but I don't know how to replicate it. I'm not
Are you saying that
I know a little and I can guess the rest,
Are you saying that the person asking the question is a dumbass?
I don't know. I'm not a drummer.
All right, let's move on to a different question.
I play a little, I
Topher
can
says,
play.
Topher says he normally can't watch the podcast because he listens while he drives. He's a tractor trailer semi driver. But he pulled off of the road to the rest area one day and looked at the screen long enough to notice Craig really looked very indicate out of his mind on the podcast. I know. Yeah. I know that last podcast, Topher, I was looking at Craig and he did, man. He was drooping, man. He was really drooping.
I got this pretty good weed, man, I do. And people giving it to me too, man. It's like,
oh, I know,
yeah.
And now they've got these gummies on Facebook, and they're selling them like crazy. And now you don't even need a medical marijuana card to order weed through the mail. It's some farm act or something. It's crazy, man. You can really be a stoner these days if you want. And then Brez, just to compliment that last question, Brez, I think you're a new commenter. I've never seen you before. Maybe you have, but he says, he says, you see this guy, kids, don't do drugs. So there you have it. There's a couple people noticing, and maybe that's why Craig can't remember from some of that stuff back in the day,
Yeah, it's possible, I guess. I don't know.
Then Homer Hancock, he says, I bet Mike Estes could do a great version of that new Stoned Roadie song.
Oh, sure he could.
Either that or he could do us a song too. We could have an album of Stoned Roadie songs. If we could get these guys,
I tell you, that's a tough song to beat, man. That's a good freaking song.
I don't see that. Yeah, I like to see somebody try.
Clayton said, "Man, I dig your freaking new song." Everybody I've talked to, so except one person,
Yeah, one person doesn't like it. Over the top.
Yeah.
It's over the top.
Oh, I wrote that thing today about Clayton about Gary's guitar. And one person said, there you go again, trying to make yourself famous, talking about yourself. I'm going, where and what I wrote did I talk about myself? And where are you coming off with this stuff? Everybody else is complimenting me, and you come off with like I'm trying to over. I said, why are you're the only negative commenter?
Well,
that one person that said they didn't like the new song. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's like I wish Gene Odom happy birthday because it was his birthday, and somebody gets on there and they go, Gene Odom selling plane crash parts with his name signed on them. It's blood money. And I said, well, his blood. I mean, the guy was on the plane. I mean, if anybody's got a right to to try to make a few bucks off it. He don't even, I don't know, Gene doesn't go on eBay. So somebody may have got, they might have got it from me. I gave it away because I don't go on eBay either. But yeah, so I don't know how it ended up on there, but Gene can do whatever the hell he wants, man. He was on the plane. So yeah, there's always somebody starting some shit, ain't it, Craig?
Yeah, it's always sorry.
Then Triple R Triple T, the song is a hit. It just needs to be publicized. Well, if anybody can publicize it for us, you got a guy, that guy that sent you that shirt's a publicist, right, Craig?
I sent you the information.
I know, but, I don't want to beg the guy to help,
I don't know if he does stuff like that or not, I don't know.
Let me see if I can bring him up here.
You said to send
Jack
him your...
Harris.
I said
Jack
you were
Harris of Eagle Rock Promotions, music events, artist development. Well, we need Craig to, be promoted, and so we can get our subscriptions. Hey, man, help us out, help us out with the song. Help us out with the, maybe you can get Craig on some other podcasts or something. And, we're always trying, like with Alan's car, we're trying to get Alan's car run. I hadn't heard a peep out of anybody yet. And nobody's giving
get me on
to
Theo
my car
Vaughn
yet.
or Joe Rogan, yeah.
Yeah, hook us up, man. Hook us up.
They had some Amish kid on there the other day.
Yeah, I mean, if they can have an Amish kid on there and they can have Craig
They had some women truck driver on there, too.
Then Chip Crewy asked Craig, you ought to know this one. Yeah, I'm sure you know this one. He says, Craig, you once said Ronnie wasn't much of a pot smoker. So what was his drug of choice, or was it mostly liquor?
Yeah, I'd say it was with liquor, yeah.
He snorted some cocaine, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was because remember he blew his throat out.
Back then it was just a thing to do, man,
Yeah, and that what happened to him in Jacksonville is a lot of liquor and cocaine, and
everybody snorted cocaine. Stevie Nicks, everybody.
Didn't Ronnie collapse on stage in Jacksonville?
Yeah, that was just from exhaustion, man. He was just, that was during the torture tour. Jacksonville was the last show of the torture tour. That was 88 cities in 95 days. That was crazy.
Yeah, he was probably taking cocaine to try to stay awake.
I think about that all the time because I was driving a truck then. I was driving the equipment truck. I remember having to get to the next show and driving the truck and thinking, you're so hallucinating. You got to get there. You go, I can close my eyes for just 5 seconds, while you're driving. I remember all that shit.
Yeah, you're hitting some cocaine to stay awake, and then when you gotta go to sleep, you take a Quaalude.
I don't drink much coffee, and I remember going into them truck stops and give me a cup of yesterday's coffee that'll walk out of here by itself.
Okay, let's check out some more brain cells, Craig. You ready? You need to know. This had nothing to do with Lynyrd Skynyrd either. Scooter for you. Craig, what was the name of that eggshell remover again? Remember the eggshell remover?
Yeah, what is that called? Oh God, I can't remember. I got it
I use that thing all the time, man. That thing works great.
But what works the best is to take a teaspoon and just take it and tap it on the small end of the egg. You'll hear it go click click, and then you'll tap it a little harder. You'll hear it go toom. Like that releases the membrane from the shell of the egg, and then put it on the other side and just go toom, like that, and then hard boil it, and then take it and put it in the ice water for 5 minutes, and then put it the neg is what it's
the neg. Yeah, the
Yeah, they're
neg.
like
See?
$15 or something, and you put it in there and shake it about 6 times. Take it out of there, and the shell just literally
Yeah,
falls
I
off.
use mine all the time, Scooter,
Yeah,
for
but the
you.
spoon trick it really knocks the membrane out away from the thing before you hard boil it.
Yeah, just don't hit it too hard or you'll
Yeah,
you know.
you'll dent it in.
So
Even if you
yeah,
dent
that
it in, it'll
I
poke out.
still use the neg all
But
the time. You can
I
take a
steam mine. I got one of them things you put like 7 eggs in it and put it in there and it steams them. I got one of
I
them.
think the ice water's the biggest trick.
Yeah, for 5 minutes the
Because
ice
you
water.
can use a mason jar too. That'll work if you just
Yeah,
put
but
it
you
in.
gotta. I don't know if you shake them. It depends how hard you hard boil them. Because if you shake it too much and you don't hard boil them enough, the egg kind of falls apart. You got to make sure the egg is pretty hard boiled. There's a little bit of a science to it. I started making a lot of hard boiled eggs, and I went, I am going to figure this out. Where it's
Oh
because
yeah, I don't
you
have
were
any
trying to take
problems.
the shell off the egg, and half the egg was that's man, it's gotta be easier.
Yeah, that's
So
aggravating.
I got it, man. I got it down pat now, man. It's so easy now. The shell just falls off. I
You don't
still
use the
laugh about
neg
it.
anymore?
Oh yeah, I use an egg. Yeah,
Yeah. We'll
yeah.
go get the
I
neg.
shake it about 6 times, but if you shake it too hard and it's not hard boiled enough, yeah, it don't come out good. It's
Didn't
gotta
didn't
be
we
real
get that
hard.
off of Amazon, the neg?
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
15, $16. Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
All right, so that's the answer to that. Craig, you did good, man. You remembered that name of that. That ain't
I
too
make
bad.
a
You
lot
ain't,
of hard boiled eggs. I pickle them. I eat a lot of pickled beets. So after the beets are gone, I put eggs in there and eat. I make pickled beets like you used to get in the bars, the pickled beets.
yeah.
Kept keep 'em in the refrigerator.
Then Tina Resco wants to know, says, please get Joe Crimp back on. Well, I am going to start going in hyperdrive to bug Joe Crimp, but I didn't want to do it during the holidays. I'm going to wait till after the holidays, and I am going to start going in hyper bug drive to get Crimp to because Joe was in the car with Gary when he hit the telephone pole, which was actually the song "Oak Tree You're in My Way," but Ronnie couldn't say "telephone pole You're in My Way." So, but Joe was in the car with Gary when that happened, and we're going to go over where that happened, and he's going to tell the story of that. He says he's going to, and if I have to kidnap him and tie him up and drag him over there, I'm going to do it. So if you're listening, Joe, get ready, man. Enjoy your holiday. But when the holiday's over, Griff is a coming. Okay. Yeah, it was Elvin Parker that asked the question about Bob Burns, and he said there ain't no way he showed Artimus how to play drums. So I think Craig nailed it. I think Artimus probably listened to the records and practiced, and I'm sure that's what he did. He probably had all the parts down before he even sat down behind those drums and had a good idea of what he was doing just from listening to the records.
Well, you follow the bass guitar. I mean, whatever what the drums and the bass. That's your basic track. So
Yeah.
you know.
And then last comment here is from Rick Walker, who, when you watch this video coming up next here with Gene Odom at Gene's house, Rick met Gene and I down at his favorite restaurant because I hand delivered him the keychain medal that came from the Heather Langley auction that he bid on, and he bought us lunch, and then we went to Gene's house, and he got to hear Gene tell this whole story and watch me videotape Gene, and he says really enjoyed the meeting with Gene and Griff and getting to see the blood oath agreement and got to hold it in my hand. So yeah, so that was kind of like a a cool thing for him. I remember when I first started hanging around with Gene, and I got to see all kinds of cool things for the first time too, and it gets addictive, to you're going along, and all of a sudden Gene will pull something out that that's some Skynyrd legacy history stuff, and it's pretty cool. So you guys stay tuned for this On the Road with Griff Martin at Gene's house, and talks about the Blood Oath, and pay attention, and because Gene's book's going to come out, and we're going to start selling them on the podcast, auctioning them off, and see. Gene's going to, I think if you watch, he's only going to sell 1,000 of them. And this blue book, man, you could read this thing. Like if you get it on an airplane, flying for a couple hours, you'll be done with that book by the time you land. It's nothing. It's mostly pictures, and it's Craig's pictures, I believe. Right?
Yeah, it's mostly all my pictures, yeah.
Yeah, that's volume 1. And so Gene's coming out with volume 2, not to be confused with this other book of Gene's. Gene's got this other book, which is a little more detailed and was kind of ghost written. Gene told the guy who put all the words down, it's from, out of Gene's head. But, this book here is more closely written by Gene. The other one was kind of ghost written, but came from Gene's mind. But this next volume coming out, handwritten by Gene. So you guys get ready for that, and we'll keep you updated on it. So that's it, Craig. You guys stay tuned for the On the Road with Griff Martin, and we'll see you next week.
All right, like the song says, he might sing Happy Trails to you at the end of this, so happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, and keep token until then. See you later at the gate at the Wild Crocodile. And this portion of the pre-recorded podcast 340, we're out of here. Cut.
What is the Lynyrd Skynyrd Blood Oath? The Lynyrd Skynyrd Blood Oath was a post-1977 plane crash pact among surviving members Gary Rosington, Alan Collins, and Ronnie Van Zant's widow, Judy Van Zant, to never use the Lynyrd Skynyrd name again and prevent capitalizing on the tragedy. While initially honored, this led to legal battles decades later, particularly over a film about the crash, as the oath was later defined and sometimes violated by members reforming the band and participating in projects resulting in court cases to control the band's legacy. After the 1977 crash, key figures agreed the band was finished. Its songs should not be performed and the name wouldn't be used. The term blood oath symbolizes deep loyalty through the actual mixing of blood. It signifies a solemn commitment. The oath became central to lawsuits when surviving members reformed the band, leading to the 1988 consent order defined usage of the name and likeness. The agreement was tested by projects like the movie Street Survivors, with court ruling on whether the project violated the original oath and consent order. Recently, I sat down with Gene Odom, Ronnie Van Zant's personal childhood friend and security guard that he hired for the band Lynyrd Skynyrd. We discussed in detail the blood oath and how Gene Odom was involved with the blood oath. The following interview I did with Gene Odom at his home, where he described events that pertain to the blood oath and how he was involved. This is Griff Martin on the road at Gene's house, and Gene has been talking to me and Ricky Walker, the jackass. He's the guy who he was commenting some stuff in the comments there, but since then he ain't been a jackass anymore. He's a cool guy. But anyway, we got Gene Odom here, and Ricky got to come over here and watch Gene talk about his book. So Gene Odom is going to talk about his volume 2 of his blue book. You want to hold that up, Gene, and show everybody what we're talking about here? And then because Gene's got a plan for selling his book, and he wants to share that on the podcast for whenever it comes time he gets them printed. And so what's going to happen with that book, Gene?
All right. Well, what happened was I've started this book, and I couldn't come up with a name. You know, I've changed the name several times, you know. And so I decided that since my first book is such a collector's item and goes for several $100s on the internet, so forth and so on, to take the pressure off of this wore-out brain, I'm gonna, and since I own the title of my book, first book, Lynyrd Skynyrd, I'll Never Forget You. That was my first book, was Lynyrd Skynyrd, I'll Never Forget You. So I'm going to use this, but I came up with the idea that I'm going to change not to change the name of it. I'm just going to say Lynyrd Skynyrd, I'll Never Forget You. And I tried to come up with a name to go with it. So the name that I came up with was, to stick with, is Volume 2. I was going to go with Villains and Martyrs. Granddaughter taught me out of that. That would have been Villains and Martyrs.
Yeah, so hold that up, Gene. Let me zoom in on that, and we'll...
You can see where I wrote Villains and Martyrs. I used an ink pen. That's the same thing there. And then what I'm going to use is Lynyrd Skynyrd, I'll Never Forget You, Volume 2. So I put
hold that right there now. All right, that's going to be that's the original blue book, but Volume 2.
Yeah, and it's going to be Volume 2. So I tried to come up with Volume 2, and I tried with the ink pen and everything. I couldn't come up with nothing. So what I'm going to come up with, I came up with this one, Volume 2.
And that's just the example that the printer's going to use to put on there for you.
And then I did this with an ink pen, with a paint pen, Volume 2. So what I'm going to do is when the printer prints it, I'm just going to have them do professionally, put Volume 2 here. So the name of the book will be Lynyrd Skynyrd, I'll Never Forget You, Volume 2. And on the back of my book, if y'all can remember, I had a poem about my brother called... Lord have mercy, hold right there, stay right yet. I'll be right back. Let me get... This is my original blue book. And so Volume 2 will be right in here. And on the back is this poem called Death that I wrote. And my brother had died right about the time we were doing this, and the printer said, you need to put something on the back of the book. So I came up with this poem about death. It says, death is eternal sleep where you never wake up, and the mountains you climb are never too steep, where your soul roams in silent splendor, in a place where the living can only dream for. Death is the end of one life, the beginning of another, where all men who dwell are known simply as brother. That's the poem that's on the back of my original
first book. That's a pretty good poem there, Gene.
I wrote that in a matter of 10 seconds. So what I'm going to do, the only change I'm going to do to the book cover is I'm going to add Volume 2. But on the back, I'm going to put the poem that's on the back of Ronnie's monument in Mississippi. I'm going to put that poem on the back with the photographs of the monument. So the back of the book, of my new book, will be a testament to the Lynyrd Skynyrd monument. And that poem, I'm gonna go ahead and post this on there. Probably gonna piss some people off. But when I let that Brandon Camero guy,
Brandon Miller, yeah.
When I let him try to take up the fundraising, which didn't come to that much, I found out later. But anyway, I let him take charge of that. I didn't know until I seen the monument that he changed about 10 words of my poem that's on the back of the monument. And Dwayne Easley, I was going to take a sledgehammer and bust it all to hell. And Dwayne says, no, man, don't. Nobody's complaining about it. We just let it slide. Because it'll cost $30,000 to replace it.
Right.
So we left it out there. And the words that he used is not that far off from what the words I used, but he did change about 10 words.
Well, putting it on the back of that book will correct it.
Well, I won't put the real poem on
right, yeah.
There won't be no messed up words in
exactly.
It'll be on the back of the book. That poem is on the back of Ronnie's monument.
So the people that buy your book will get to see the real poem.
They get the real poem.
Not the words that were changed. I think he was trying to help, but he didn't realize that you don't do that to original words.
That's like somebody. I'm going to use this for an example. That's like somebody touching up the Mona Lisa.
Right.
Say, I painted that. But
yeah,
I have calmed down a lot since then, and the people that see it don't know the difference.
Well, you can make it right here.
I'll make it right on the back of my new book.
You can make it right here.
I don't want to mess that book up. That's the original book, there, buddy.
Okay.
And so here, this is how Gene Odom's writing. This is my book. I'm writing it, and so when I'm done, I'll get somebody to type it for me and correct the spelling. They're not going to change any words. My granddaughter's going to help me. She goes to college. She won't change any words. She'll just make sure that periods and commas or stuff like that is in the right place, because I don't know where to put periods and commas in the right place or not. 99% of my stuff would be wrong, trying to put periods and commas and exclamation points. So when we finish it, which I'm getting close to getting this finished.
Is that notebook there full of writing? Is that your book? That's basically your book.
This is the book.
That's your book.
I've got one more notebook, but this is my book.
I'll be darned. Okay.
So
we're looking at the Gene Odom Volume 2.
Right here.
Blue book.
This is Gene Odom Volume 2 right there, buddy.
Okay, so when that thing comes out, we're going to all know that came out of that notebook. That's pretty good.
And this guy, that a real smart guy, I was talking to him about it, and he went, I only wanted to do 100 copies. He says, no. He said, your book, that blue book, sells for hundreds of dollars on the internet. People love it. He said, print 1,000 copies as a one-time thing. Only 1,000 copies. And the price of it he came up with was $100 a copy. He said, Gene, these people that are going to buy this book are going to sell this book for $200, $300, $400 down the road. They're going to make money off of your book. So we're going to print 1,000 copies. And he said, your book will be $100 a copy. And the first copy, to get some money to try to help me print that, I'm going to say, everybody's going to want the first copy. The highest bidder, whoever, for 30 days, whoever bids the highest bid for my first book will get the first copy, number one. And so my first book, when I printed 10,000 copies. He said 10,000 copies, and you see what they go for. You see the people that are always trying to find that book. So I'm gonna print 1,000 copies, and whoever bids the highest for the first copy gets the first copy.
So whatever you want to do when you come up with your idea of exactly how you want to do it, if you want to come on the podcast, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people that have bid on that thing. I mean,
I will. As soon as I give it to the printer,
yeah.
And I have they make a copy of when they put the professional volume 2 on there.
Yeah.
Now there's a reason for me using the same title, is because number one, I own that title, and I came up with different things. And I hate to say this, with my post-traumatic stress disorder, which I have at times 4, the VA's never seen post-traumatic stress times 4. I don't want to try to come up with another title because I can't come up with that many titles of what my time was with Ron.
I think it's a great idea to call it Volume 2.
That's what it's going to be. It's a Volume 2 of my life with my time with Ronnie Van Zant and the Lynyrd Skynyrd Band. Me and Ronnie were 29 years, but me and the Lynyrd Skynyrd Band as an employee was less than a year, from when I went on the payroll until the plane crash.
But then after the plane crash, you got a lot to say.
Yeah, I had a lot to say about the plane crash because then it still eats me up every single night, And I've tried to, I almost told just singing the trash can 10 times. And I told myself I need to finish it before I
and I remember mentioning to you that you've got that letter that basically gives you the right to do this, and you needed the copy of that. We got that letter back, which you're going to put that in the book, right?
You ain't gonna believe this. I was digging through these boxes.
You found it?
I found the original copy.
No kidding.
Yeah. I didn't. Ooh, I had.
Well, that's good.
I had sealed it in plastic.
Okay, Gene found his. Now, what does this letter do, Gene? What does this letter?
I'm gonna sit down and get off my feet.
Yeah.
All right.
Here, turn around and that letter. Turn that letter around. Let's look at it here. Okay. What does that letter do, Gene?
All right. On April the 13th, Wait a minute. Let's just throw it back. Let's just go back. Right after, I got the actual date somewhere. Right after the plane crash, in I think it was March of 1978. Judy called a blood oath agreement, a band meeting, because Ronnie was dead and nobody could sing the songs. Ronnie was the only person that could sing those songs. And so everybody was trying to heal up, including me, and I'm not a stockholder, I wasn't a member of the band. But she called the meeting and Alan Collins called me, come pick him up and take him to this blood oath agreement meeting. So I'm sitting behind Alan, and there is a table at Larkin's office. And Judy says, Ronnie's dead. Nobody can sing these songs. And everybody was long-faced because, they were still trying to heal up from the crash and everything, and everybody agreed. Ronnie Van Zant was dead and nobody could sing the songs. It was over. Lynyrd Skynyrd Band was over. So they all shook hands, agreed that Lynyrd Skynyrd was dead and nobody could sing those songs but Ronnie. And they all shook hands. I'm sitting here and Alan Collins reaches around and grabbed me by the hand. I said, you one of us, Gene Odom. You ain't a stockholder, but you one of us. Shake hands with everybody. I shook hands with everybody. And I sat back in my chair, So and they spoke a little bit. The meeting was over.
Oh, but how did you get that letter, Gene?
All right. Now, I got this letter thanks to Alan Collins. In '83, when he put the Alan Collins band together, he called me on the phone. Me and Alan were close. He called me up. He says, Gene, come out the house. I want to talk to you. I'm right there. He said, man, he says, we got our album finished. We're fixing to hit the road. Alan Collins band. And he says, I want you to do my merchandising for me. And he says, because I know you lost your ass and didn't get me to get no money to plane crash or nothing. He says, you can have my merchandising. I'm going, this band's going to make it. I got a good band. And he said, you writing that book? I said, yeah. He said, well, get it finished. How far? I said, I'm about done. He said, well, get it finished, get it printed up, print your copies up, and you can sell them at my shows. He says, now, I want you to do me a favor. I said, what's that? He said, I want you to write up a contract because we have the blood oath agreement. And he said, you are a part of that agreement because you shook hands with everybody. I said, well, I'm not a member of the band. He said, that's fine and dandy, but you're a member of the blood oath agreement that we agreed to because you shook hands with everybody. All right. He says, I want you to write up a contract that you can do for and talk about your book, how you say your book. And he says, I want to okay it. So I wrote this up. And so,
Can you read that, Gene?
yeah, but let me finish this.
Okay.
I wrote this up, and I had everybody sign it. Artimus didn't sign it because he didn't need to sign it. He wasn't a stockholder. And so, but he says, when you get everybody to sign it, bring it to me. I want to be the last one to sign it. I didn't know why he wanted to be the last one. So I got everybody to sign it.
So who all signed it?
Alan, Judy, Gary, Billy, Teresa Gaines, and Leon Wilkinson. That was the stockholders of Lynyrd Skynyrd Inc. And so I had everybody sign it. And I took it to Alan Collins to sign it. And he looked at it, he went, I like this. This is good. This is what I want. Come on, let's go. We got in this car and went to the bank. And when he signed it, he had it notarized at the bank. And he handed it back to me and said, now you got a legal agreement.
No kidding.
That'll protect you and us. All right. So I threw it in the safe deposit box.
That exact copy you have in your hand.
This one right here.
That one that you
Throw
got in
that
your
in the safe
hand.
deposit box.
I just want to hold this up for the camera here.
I had just put in the thing. So
Well, that's the actual signatures
That's the actual contract.
right there. Wow, yeah, I can see the actual ink and everything. How cool is that? Okay, go ahead, Gene.
And so I threw it in the safe deposit box. So on the tribute tour, when they started, they did more than 10 shows. Let's go back to the beginning. And here you go. They didn't have anybody. Singer at that time. I'm not going to mention the two names that they brought up first. Alan Collins had me take him to the meeting that they had put together to form the tribute band. And so I just left Johnny walking to his daddy's house when I went to the meeting. And so at the meeting, the first person, I'm not going to mention his name, they didn't agree on, the other guy didn't agree on that guy. So they mentioned Johnny's name. And I knew where Johnny was at right then. And I'm not in the meeting or nothing, I'm sitting back there, And I said, hey, I'm going to get me a Coca-Cola. You want me to bring you anything back to drink? No, we're good, Gene, everybody's good. All right, I went straight to Lacey's house. And when I left, I got to Lacey's house. Johnny had left his daddy's house and was walking back to his mobile home. So I pulled up and stopped and got out and I said, hey, I'm at the meeting and they're fixing to call you. He said, tell them, don't call me, Gene. I said, listen, he said, tell them don't call me. I'm not interested in it. I'll never sing my brother's music. I'll never sing it. I said, well, listen, man. He said, just, the guy's voice got a little higher. He said, hey, I'm telling you, man, go back and tell them, don't call me. I'll never sing my brother's music, period. And he turned to step up on his porch. Mobile home had 2 steps. And I got my sleeve. I said, Johnny, I said, he turned around. I thought he was going to swing. Oh, I wished he would have. And so I said, man, listen. He said, listen, Gene, you of all people want me to sing my brother's songs. I'll never do it. I'll never sing my brother's songs. Never. I said, well, man, look here. Pointed to his mom and dad's mobile home. I said, Johnny, do it for the money. Because you're going to make some pretty good money. Give your mom and daddy half the money. Make you feel better. You can see a light bulb go boop. He went, wow. You know what? You got a point there. I could help mom and daddy out, help me out too. I said, yeah. He just grabbed my hand. He said, all right, you go back and tell them to call me. And he says, now I'm going to next thing handed you. He says, as soon as this tribute tour, 10 shows is over, I'm coming back home and putting my band back together, Johnny Van Sant Band. Now, when they stopped about a year later, he did put the Johnny Van Sant Band back together, gave me his merchandising business. Johnny Van Zandt band couldn't draw flies at a shit-slinging contest. But he had to fulfill his contract. As soon as his club tour was over, boom, get back on the phone to Gary, let's put the tribute tour back together. That's where the big money's at. So they've been traveling around for all these years as a tribute band. But they don't want nobody to call them a tribute band. And so, what was I going to say?
I think you was going to go back to where the legal aspect of it and the lawyers were fighting over, and you whipped that letter out.
Oh, yeah. So,
it was
when they started back up again, Judy, Gary was going to keep traveling. And so Judy at that time didn't want them to, because they had a blood oath agreement and they had a 10-show deal. So Judy sues them. Her lawyer's name was Sandra Frankel. Gary, I use the name Gary because he was in charge of the tribute band. She actually sued the tribute band, and Gary was the head man of the tribute band for breach of contract. And they were saying that, well, we got the right to use the name because we choose to use the name. I don't know the legal term for all that. And she says, no, we have a blood oath agreement to never capitalize on the name Lynyrd Skynyrd again after 1978. Only for the 10 shows, Tribute to a Tribute Inc. And so it went past the 10 shows because Gary says he's just going to keep making records. He's going to keep playing because that's his band. And so Judy started a lawsuit. And so I actually have the actual paperwork from the court. And it was 50-50. All of these legal things that they went back to other bands, other people, all of this legal stuff for months and months and months. And it got down to the point that it was 4 against 1. So Gary, Billy and Leon had been bought out years earlier by Ronnie and Gary and Alan. So Ronnie, Gary, and Alan owned Lynyrd Skynyrd Inc. Billy and Leon were at that time were just employees. And so the court is going on. They're going back and forth, more back and forth. So it all boils down to Gary told Billy and Leon Artimus was, like I said, never a stockholder, but he was a member of the band. So Gary told Billy, Leon, and Artimus, if you say anything about the blood oath agreement, you're fired. They said, well, we're going to go with you. He said, okay, it's 4 against 1. We're saying there was never a blood oath agreement because there's no paper trail. It never happened. It didn't happen in a courtroom. It happened in Alan's daddy's office. He said, Gary, Billy, Leon, and Artimus saying we never had a blood oath agreement. Ronnie Van Zant's estate, Judy, is lying. It never happened. It's 4 against 1. So she finally called me up one day. We talked all the time back then. She called me up. She says, Gene, my God, we're beat. Federal courthouse, Manhattan, New York. I said, no, you're not beat. She said, keep fighting. She said, we can't. It's 4 against 1. My lawyer said we shouldn't even show up in court because we're beat. It's 4 against 1. I said, well, don't worry about that. She said, that Gene is, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not a damn lawyer. I said, well, make sure you're in court when you get called up there because you're going to win. She's on the phone. She blowed up. You know what the fuck you talking about? You no goddamn lawyer. Again, you just slammed the phone down. Yeah, okay. She called me back about 20 minutes later. She apologized. I'm sorry, Gene. She said, I just got upset. She said, you don't know what you're talking about. My lawyer said, we're beat. It's 4 against 1. They're saying there was never a blood oath agreement. And I'm saying there was. We don't have any proof. I said, well, I got proof. She said, what the hell, you ain't? You're not a member of the band. I said, I've heard that before. She said, what are you talking about, Jim? We don't have any proof, and your word ain't no good because you're not a member of the band. You're not a stockholder. I said, you remember the blood oath agreement that you called? Ronnie was dead, the band was over, and you called the blood oath agreement meeting. You remember that meeting? March 13, 1978? She said, yeah. I said, all right. In 83, when I did my book, and I got all y'all to sign that contract, my book agreement, my blood oath agreement thing, you signed it too. She goes, oh my God, you got that? I said, yes, in a safe deposit box. Oh, you got to come to New York. I said, you got to get me up there. I ain't got no money. She said, Mama, come on, man. I'll go. Listen, oh yeah, I'll get you a ticket, airplane ticket. And here you go. Right before I flew up there, I got 2 ear infections and couldn't fly. So I had to take a train from Jacksonville to New York. I got up there, and Gary's lawyer was the biggest entertainment lawyer at that time in the world. Jay Goldberg. I didn't know that. Judy's lawyer was named Senator Frankel. So Judy's there, Gary's attorneys. The band was told not to show up because this is a cut and dried case. Don't even show up, y'all got it beat. And so Judy's attorney, and I'm sitting back on the back bench against the back wall. You know, and Jay Goldberg stands up, you know, and at the time, the judge was on their side. He favored them, and I'll tell you about a word. He says, Your Honor, you've heard this whole case and everything. And they said, yeah, we've heard it. The judge said, we're going to finish this up today, and he used a legal term to say that they don't have a leg to stand on. I can't think of the legal term. And he said, I want to go fishing. I'm finishing this case today. We're getting this over with today. He says, Your Honor, you've heard it. He said, we're going to rest our case. Jay Goldberg sits down. Judy's lawyer, Senator Frankel, stands up. Says, Your Honor, you've heard this whole case and everything, and you've heard all the stuff. And the judge said, yeah. And what it came to is he used that same term. Y'all don't have a leg to stand on. And they said, we're going to get this over today. I've heard enough. And so he says, Your Honor, he says, can we call a witness at this time? And the judge says, a witness? Do you think you got a witness at this time that can help your case? Yes, we sure do. He says, is he or she here? Yes, sir. He said, right back on that bench back there. The judge said, well, bring your witness up. So I came up with this contract and my book in my hand. And I had to throw myself into that lady. I throw myself in and I sit down. And the judge was behind me here, you know. And Senator Frankel goes, Gene Odom, I understand that you was part of the band. I said, I was an employee at the time of the crash. I says, me and Ronnie grew up together. I was friends with everybody. I wasn't a band member. I wasn't a stockholder or nothing like that. He says, all right, I understand that. He says, I understand you wrote a book. I said, yes, sir. This book right here, Lynyrd Skynyrd, I'll Never Forget You. And I handed him the book. He looked at it and he goes, Lynyrd Skynyrd, I'll Never Forget You. He says, okay, now if you shook hands with everybody to not use the name Lynyrd Skynyrd, Mr. Odom, how can you use this name legally? I said, because I have a book agreement signed with everybody, notarized by Alan Collins at the bank. Jay Goldberg jumped up out of his seat. I'm talking about jumped up, son, and run fast as he could run up to the witness stand where I'm at. Let me see that so-called book agreement. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Let me see that so-called book agreement, buddy. I handed it to him, you know. He looked at this thing, and let's say you're the judge, and I'm sitting right there. And he goes, you know, watch my neck. He goes, he started to cuss. He started to cuss. He went, God damn! And he caught himself. Started shaking it in front of the judge. He went, Your Honor, if I knew this piece of paper and that man existed, I'd have never taken this case. He hands it to associate lawyer, raised his right hand and went, Your Honor, I resign. I'm going to work on a real case, and walked out of the federal courthouse, Manhattan, New York. Gary's other lawyer, the band's other lawyer, said, I don't be, the judge says, Can I see that piece of paper? Gary's other lawyer hands it to the judge. The judge looked at it and he went, Who wrote this? I said, Your Honor, I wrote it, but I don't have an education. I had somebody type it, put the periods and commas and everything that needed to be professional in it, and then had everybody sign it. When Alan Collins signed it, Alan Collins notarized it at the bank. See, the tribute band, the 10 shows, contract-wise, each one of them was to receive a minimum of $350,000. That was going to be their minimum pay after the 10th show tribute tour. So he looked at this and he went, and he laid that piece of paper down and he started tapping his watch about 10 times. He told Gary's lawyer, See, after the 10 shows, the minimum money would have been $300,000 that they would have made for the tribute tour. He says, You got 72 hours to bring me $350,000 cash bond for Ronnie Van Zant's estate. So I knew right then, a year later, Ronnie Van Zant had never been paid his share from the tribute tour. He says, and don't be late. Don't be a minute late with that $350,000 cash bond. And he also said, I understand that y'all are booking more shows, the other 60 shows. That was in the contract. He said, that means promoters have already put up good faith money for their show. So I don't want no promoters to lose any money. He said, finish up this tour, the 60 shows, the whole tribute tour. Finish it up. Come back here and we'll settle this up. And he tapped me on the shoulder. He said, son, he said, you just whipped one of the biggest lawyers in the world. I said, didn't take that long, did it? He said, you done an honorable thing for your dead friend.
So can you read that?
You want me to read it?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, just to.
All right, now this is a draft done by a guy with an 8th grade education that kicked the biggest lawyer, entertainment lawyer in the world's ass. You know, this agreement made as of this 13th day of April 1983 by and between Larkin Allen Collins Jr., Judy Van Zant Grondrin as personal representative of Ronnie Van Zant's estate, Gary R. Rosington, William N. Powell, Leon R. Wilkerson, Artimus Powell, Teresa Gaines, and personal representatives of Steve Gaines' estate. Whereby we authorize Vernon E. Odom, Gene, to write a book, publish it on the story of his and Ronnie Van Zant's lives, as well as using the names of other Lynyrd Skynyrd band members, and also using some pictures of the band and its members in the book. The book will be entitled Lynyrd Skynyrd, I'll Never Forget You, in witness whereof the parties hereto have executed this agreement on the date indicated above. And Alan and Gary and Billy and Leon and Teresa Gaines signed it. Like I said, Artemis didn't have to sign it because he was not a stockholder.
Now, so how is that, I was just wondering, how does that prove there's a blood oath agreement? Is that because that's the stockholders?
No, this proves that I was there at the blood oath agreement and I shook hands with everybody, and the meeting did take place, that everybody shook hands.
Okay.
Because I was an eyewitness at that meeting.
Gotcha.
You know? And when I went there, by everybody giving me permission to do this book.
And that's in that picture is in the book, isn't it? I mean, a copy of that's in the book, isn't it?
I don't
the
think
blue
so.
book. I thought it was.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think it is.
Okay, well, that's pretty interesting,
But
Gene.
that's what turned Gary Rossington against me, is when I took up for Ronnie's estate.
How many shows did you sell the book into shirts at? You remember?
Well, Gary ran me off. I don't think I sold them for more than 10 shows before I had to come home. Big Lou told me, he said, "Don't travel with the band." Gary
Yeah, I
told me,
remember. I remember you
he
guys
said, "Don't travel with the
yeah.
band." He said, "Get your own transportation and don't go home. Stay out here and sell as many books and shirts as you can sell to make some money back, because I know you need some money."
So you had 100 books and 100 shirts for 10 shows at the first 10 shows.
And
That's,
after the 10th show, I left to come home because Gary was getting so, talking behind my back. So to keep the fear down and to keep from running into somebody, hurting somebody.
Well, this battery's about to run out here. Gene, anything you want to say about that book before we close on this? And
well, y'all just watch for it. I'll have it out one day. Once I get it printed, I'll have to get the money, and that's when I'll probably once I get a figure on how much it's going to cost. I'll probably say, okay, if y'all want to bid on the first book, we would do it for 30 days.
Right.
And then I'll take that money and I'll put toward.
Okay, so more to be told, more to come, and then whenever your book comes out, then we'll figure out what you want to do exactly then, and we'll put it back on the podcast.
But they won't be but 1,000 copies.
All right. All right, Gene.
Okay.
Thanks for the story, man.
Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for being on the podcast and keeping the Stone Roadie podcast going.
All righty.